Well, right now we do have our first call-in guest. He's the vice president of the Liverpool fan club up in New York, Conor Brennan, who's actually going to talk to us a little bit about our interview with Stephen Cohen from last week. Conor, are you there?
I am indeed. Good evening.
Good evening, Conor.
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us. You're actually in Ireland right now, is that right?
Yes, I'm in Ireland, actually on family business. I expect
okay.
to be back in New York sometime in the next week or so.
Okay. Well, Conor, thanks for joining us, man, even though you are across the pond, as they say. But, like I said, I wanted to talk to you and get your take on our interview with Stephen Cohen last week. Of course, we had Stephen Cohen on talking a little bit about the Hillsborough disaster and his take on it. Of course, he's been receiving death threats. He's been criticized for some comments he's made regarding the whole Hillsborough incident and Liverpool fans.
Indeed, yeah. My problem with Stephen Cohen, and I think Liverpool's fans' problems with Stephen Cohen, is that he has made some very derogatory, very insulting fans about the Hillsborough disaster in 1989. When offered the chance to issue an apology, he did so, waited, a couple of weeks, a couple of months in some cases, and just repeated them. So the apologies make no difference as far as Stephen Cohen is concerned. He has an animus, shall we say, against Liverpool fans. He's gone so far on his radio show to say how wonderful it was that he managed to call Liverpool fans murderers and in a pub in London, and thought it was hilarious and this sort of thing. And I think we all know that soccer in the States is it would be the fifth sport, would it not? And I think it's going along with this line of banter, as he would call it, paints soccer in a very bad light. But more to the point, he is spreading outright lies about what happened at Hillsborough and about Liverpool fans.
Now, what exactly, what specific lies?
He said that 5,000 to 6,000 ticketless fans turned up to the game in 1989, wherein 96 Liverpool fans, 96 of our fellow fans died. And that's just patently untrue. Tickets for that game were being sold the day before the match at Anfield, at Liverpool's football stadium. The Taylor report came out and completely vindicated the notion that there were any ticketless fans that turned up. Ticketless fans obviously turn up to all events, but they were not a factor in this. As he went on to say in another interview, drunken fans. But the Taylor report was the official British government inquiry into the Hillsborough disaster, and on both it specifically vindicated that there were no ticketless fans and there were no drunken fans as contributing factors. That's not to say they weren't ticketless or drunken fans there.
I have sorry to pause there. This is Jace. I got a question. I know that you kind of only, to be honest with you, have heard about this in passing, just secondhand and speaking with various people. But I know that there was, I think, an attempt to encourage boycotts of Stephen Cohen's show and whatnot, until he gave an apology, and I think he kind of gave a half one, sort of half-heartedly or whatnot. Are those plans still going, continuing? Are you still looking to push that?
As far as we're concerned, and the we I'm speaking of here is both Liverpool fans worldwide, and specifically the LFC, which is the Liverpool Supporters Club in New York. Stephen Cohen has been spreading these lies over and over and again for the past 3, 4, 5 years. We only have email. We don't have a bully pulpit of World Soccer Daily, which goes out every day. We don't have Fox Football phone in to get up on our bully pulpit and sort of try and speak for the 96 fans. The reason the 96 fans can't speak for themselves, of course, is that they're dead, and Stephen seems to sort of take a certain glee in that. So the only message we are left with is to go to his advertisers and saying, listen, Mr. Advertiser, you are advertising on Stephen Cohen's show. You are giving him money. Do you know what Stephen Cohen is saying with your money and in your name? He is denigrating the deaths of 96 Liverpool football fans. And we're just making the advertisers aware that with their money and in their name, Stephen Cohen is doing this.
It's just out of curiosity. So I guess the end game is ultimately you're looking to try and get him completely off the air?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I think we're all human, and I think everybody makes mistakes. And everybody can make a mistake once. Stephen Cohen made a mistake once 3 years ago on Fox Football phone-in and apologized, and he couldn't get the apology out of his mouth quickly enough to move on to the next topic, and then repeated and repeated and repeated it. So if it were a one-off event and he apologized and said, hey, hands up, guys, I made a mistake, my bad, then I'm sure, we're all reasonable people who say, yeah, okay, we understand it. He made a mistake, apologized for it, and then laughed afterwards and repeated it and repeated it and repeated it. So, yeah, we want Stephen Cohen gone off the air.
Now, of course, Stephen actually had a recent apology, and we've talked about it in studio before. We talked about it outside the show as well. It really didn't seem like it was that much of an apology because he basically said, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Yeah, it was kind of, if you're offended, I'm sorry, and if you weren't, I don't care. And let's crumple up the paper and move on to the next thing as soon as possible, and I promise never to talk about it again. That promise lasted 15 seconds, I believe, until he went on to denigrate the campaign that that the Liverpool fans in North America were running. And he has continued to talk about it, despite promising never to talk about Hillsborough again. And what is rather interesting on many different levels is that, usually speaking, Liverpool Football Club, this is the club that plays the wonderful football, as we would say, in Anfield. Usually speaking, Liverpool does not get involved in Hillsborough-related stuff. They normally hand that off to the families of the 96 dead fans. They were so incensed that for the first time ever, they broke with tradition and denounced Stephen Cohen. That speaks volumes to those in the know, those Liverpool fans, football fans worldwide. They would recognise how big a deal that was for Liverpool to denounce Stephen Cohen.
Conor, this is Brian Zygo here, and to be honest with you,
how are you?
Good. To be honest with you, I'm a Roma fan. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the EPL, but I'm impressed with what you guys have been able to do. Real quick, and then we got to go to break.
Sure.
Could you focus your target next on Jim Rome for us?
Yes. I tell you, Jim Rome has certainly aroused the ire of many fans. He doesn't seem to like the game at all, right?
Exactly. We can all get behind that, I'm sure.
Yeah. And you see, in many respects, what Jim Rome was doing with football, with soccer, using his bully pulpit at ESPN, maybe not quite as vindictive, perhaps, as Stephen Cohen, because he wasn't delighting in the deaths of people. But yeah, I can well understand. Jim Rome, would it be fair to say? I think to be fair to say, he wouldn't be on my Christmas card list. I doubt he's on your Christmas card list, is he, guys?
No, definitely not. Nothing. No. Lump of coal for Jim Rome this year.
Well, Conor, hey, thank you for talking with us tonight. Conor Brennan, the VP of the Liverpool fan club up in New York City.
Yes, thanks a lot, Conor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.